revealed how a janitor's touching promise to a millionaire in a wheelchair led to an incredible transformation in a high school community. Jack had never dreamed of much beyond his next paycheck and the warm smiles of his two kids, who were the center of his universe. But today was different. As the storm raged outside, pouring rain against the school's windows like tears, he encountered a man who could change everything, Mr. Harper, a once thriving businessman now confined to a wheelchair. Burdened by the shadows of his past. As Jack picked up a stray piece of paper in the brightly lit hallway, he caught a glimpse of Mr. Harper, staring forlornly out at the pouring rain. Something in the billionaire's gaze struck Jack deep in his heart, a longing, a desire to connect. Jack approached, his janitor's uniform crinkling softly like the whispers of his own grief. "Need some help?" he asked, his voice steady, despite the storm brewing inside. Mr. Harper turned, surprise lighting his gray eyes. "I often feel invisible around here," he replied, his tone reflecting the weight of his years. Jack nodded. He knew all about feeling lost, invisible in shadows cast by his own struggles after the love of his life was taken too soon. Over the next few weeks, as the end of school loomed like a thunderclap, Jack found himself working late nights alongside Mr. Harper. They would talk and share stories, laughter pouring from them like the rain outside. Jack dreamed aloud of a better future for his children, where creativity thrived, where art bloomed in every corner of the neglected school. And Mr. Harper, tucked away in his wheelchair, shared how he had lost touch with art in his relentless chase for success, how he wanted to breathe life back into that beauty, to resurrect joy and hope. "Let's bring back the art program," Jack proposed one day, a fire blooming in his chest. Mr. Harper's eyes sparkled at the idea. They shook hands, an unspoken promise passed between them, binding their two lives. Amid dreams of paint and clay, everything seemed possible, but as they began to rally support, dark clouds loomed. The school board's budget cuts threatened the very program they dreamed of revitalizing. Jack's stomach tightened as faces around the table glanced at him with thinly veiled doubt. A janitor, leading a campaign? They couldn't see the value, the heart beating within his chest for a brighter future. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Tension boiled as Jack faced off against the skeptics, teachers who scoffed, parents who frowned, and old rivals who whispered. With every passing moment, he felt his own worth challenged. But as Mr. Harper opened up about his own past, his fraught relationship with art, Jack felt a spark of solidarity igniting in him. They were two men fighting against the tide, caught in a system built to diminish them. As the community event drew near, secrets buried deep in Mr. Harper's past threatened to surface, challenging their bond. Jack had to ask himself, could he stand up against the doubts of a community, a world that seemed eager to keep them apart? Underneath the stormy skies and flickering lights, Jack felt hope pulse within him like a heartbeat. Could a janitor's promise truly make a difference? And if so, were they ready for the transformation that was about to unfold? Jack stood at the edge of the school auditorium, staring at the empty seats. The anticipation was thick in the air, and he could feel the pulse of his heartbeat as a reminder of what was at stake. This event was more than just a presentation, it was a lifeline for the arts, for Mr. Harper, and for the dreams he held for his children. He glanced at Mr. Harper, who was adjusting himself in his wheelchair, an air of nervous excitement surrounding him. "Are you ready for this?" Jack asked, forcing a smile. Mr. Harper took a deep breath, his hand brushing over the edge of his wheelchair. "It's now or never, Jack. I put everything I have left into this moment." As Joe, the art teacher, kicked things off, introducing the initiative, Jack's confidence began to wane. He felt the weight of skeptical eyes on him when the time came for him to speak. Just as he opened his mouth, his mind raced, and he faltered. Here he was, a janitor standing before a crowd of influential community members. Yet, as he scanned the audience, familiar faces began to emerge. Friends from the PTA, parents of students he cleaned up after, kids who shared their dreams with him while he emptied the trash cans in class. They believed in him, and maybe just maybe, he could believe in himself too. Art is more than just paint on a canvas, Jack spoke, finding strength in his voice. It's a way to connect, to inspire, and to heal. It was taken from us. It was taken from our children. He died a little inside hearing the snickers of a few skeptics in the back. Jack pushed through, sharing his vision. He spoke of the changes they could make and the positive impact they could have on the students, how art could transform those troubled lives just as it once did for Mr. Harper. When he finished, the audience erupted into a mix of lukewarm applause and murmurs, but the core community felt it. They understood. Mr. Harper's eyes were fixed on Jack, a flicker of pride shining through. They shared a brief nod that felt like a lifetime worth of reassurance. Before he could bask in that moment, the school board members began to speak. The leading board member, a stern-looking woman named Mrs. Thompson, stood up. While the art program brings joy, we must adhere to our budget. Offering this program is just not feasible. She looked across the room, gauging the crowd's reaction. Jack's heart dropped. It felt like a punch to the gut. Was this really how it would end? But before disappointment could settle in, Mr. Harper raised his hand. With respect, I'd like to propose an alternative. The room went silent as all the attention shifted to him. If you're concerned about funding, I'm willing to match donations for the next year, up to a certain amount, if the community can rally behind this cause. A murmur of surprise coursed through the audience. Jack felt a spark ignite all over again. Hope reignited in slow waves as momentum shifted. After a series of questions, debates, and finally a vote, the result hung in the air like a breath held too long. Smiling faces and full hearts surrounded Jack and Mr. Harper as the initiative passed with strong support from the community. Jack, you did it, Mr. Harper said, tears glistening in his eyes. But as they celebrated the newfound direction, Jack felt a tightening knot in his stomach and unease creeping in. What's next? He murmured to himself, staring into the hopeful faces around him. It felt like they were perched at the edge of something monumental. Could everything they built withstand the pressure about to come crashing down? As Jack looked back at Mr. Harper, the beaming smile on his face gave him courage. But still, doubt nagged at the edges of his heart. Where would this journey truly lead them? Jack's heart raced as applause echoed in the auditorium, but it felt like a distant sound. He felt the warmth of Mr. Harper's pride, but beneath it lurked a series of questions that twisted his stomach into tight knots. What had they really achieved? And more importantly, what lay ahead for the art program and the students who depended on it? The audience gradually dispersed, families and friends blending into small groups to discuss the aftermath. Jack felt like a ghost among them. He wanted to celebrate but couldn't shake the lingering unease. He turned to Mr. Harper, hoping the man could sense his apprehension. What if we can't meet the funding goal? Jack quietly asked, unable to hide the worry in his voice. What if people don't come through? Mr. Harper sighed, a weight of understanding in that breath. Trust in the community you've stirred, he said, his voice steady. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to ignite the flame. Look around you, he gestured to the room still buzzing with hope. These people care. They want to see change. Taking Mr. Harper's words to heart, Jack stepped into the crazed chatter, casually entwining himself with groups, introducing the idea of fundraising events, and urging them to think of ways they could pitch in. With every conversation, he felt a flicker of renewed hope. He recalled the kids who shared their dreams with him during cleanup. This was for them. Hours passed like minutes, and soon the auditorium pooled with fading daylight. A few die-hard supporters remained, discussing plans, setting dates for meetings, and brainstorming sustainable initiatives. Jack felt a surge of responsibility gather in his core. The community thrived on the heartbeat that they all shared, and he had helped ignite it. "Jack," a voice sounded nearby. It was Mia, a mother of one of the students he had seen many times at meetings. "You're incredible. I can't believe how you rallied everyone together. Can I help with anything?" Her enthusiasm was contagious, a fresh breeze lifting the fatigue that hung over him. "We'll need all hands on deck," Jack replied. "Let us come up with ideas on how we can reach out to local businesses for donations. Every little bit helps, right?" Mia nodded fervently, and soon they began bouncing suggestions off of each other. Bake sales, art showcases, auction nights, each idea painted a vivid picture of a brighter future for their children. As the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving trails of pink and orange in its wake, Jack stepped outside the school. He took a deep breath, inhaling the cool evening air. It felt refreshing, as if the sky offered reassurance that they were on the right path. But just as he began to feel a sense of relief, a text pinged on his phone. He glanced down to read words he never expected. "I need to speak with you about an urgent matter regarding the program. Come to my office tomorrow morning." It was from Mrs. Thompson. Jack's whole body tensed. Was she reconsidering the decision? Had she heard something that could dismantle what they had just built? Doubts surged back, clawing at the tiny ember of hope still glowing inside him. With anxious knots tightening in his stomach, Jack whispered to himself, what could it mean? The thrill of all their hard work now balanced on a knife's edge. The night deepened around him, the stars flickering like distant promises. Tomorrow would bring clarity, and yet all it carried was question. Were they ready for whatever news awaited them? Jack didn't sleep well that night. Each toss and turn was accompanied by thoughts of what tomorrow could bring. The darkness stretched around him like a thick fog, heavy with dread. What was Mrs. Thompson going to say? When the morning finally came, he woke up with a pit in his stomach. The morning light filtered through his window, sparking shards of hope, yet the gnawing uncertainty remained. He pulled himself out of bed, forcing himself to dress for the occasion. After all, he needed to project confidence even if his heart was a storm inside. The drive to the school felt like it took an eternity. Jack kept glancing at the clock, each tick echoing louder than the last. He pushed through the parking lot, where the warmth of the sun felt almost mocking in contrast to the uncertainty brewing within him. As he approached Mrs. Thompson's office, his resolve wavered. He paused just outside the door, pressing a palm against the cool wood. Deep breaths went in and out, trying to settle his nerves. "Jack." The voice of Mrs. Thompson cut through the silence as she opened the door. Her expression was unreadable, and that only deepened his concern. "Thank you for coming so promptly. Please, come in." He stepped inside, the air heavy with the smell of old paper and polished wood. The office was cluttered but inviting, filled with pictures of past events, displaying smiles he hoped would be replicated in the days to come. "Have a seat," she said, gesturing to a chair opposite her desk. Jack sat down, trying to read her face for clues. "First, I want to talk about the art program," she started, her fingers tapping lightly against the desk. While the recent performance was so heartfelt, she paused, collecting her thoughts. "We still face some serious financial hurdles." Jack's heart sank. He clenched his fists, resisting the urge to interrupt. "It's vital we get community support. I know you've had great ideas with the fundraising. I'm here to help." "What do you mean?" he asked, disbelief threading through his voice. "I can assist you in reaching out to some larger donors. There's a chance I can connect you with someone who might be willing to sponsor the program." The weight on his shoulders felt lighter, but still not ideal. "But if we don't hit our goal, what happens then? Have you spoken to the board?" Mrs. Thompson sighed deeply. "The board will be meeting soon to review all programs. It's crucial they see the momentum you've sparked." If not, her voice trailed off, and in its silence, Jack could hear 1,000 what-ifs. He thought of the kids, their joy as they created, explored, dreamed. They couldn't lose that. "Is there any way we can find out what specific goals we need to hit?" I mean, if I have a target, I can work towards it. Mrs. Thompson nodded, a hint of admiration in her eyes. I'm impressed with your determination. I'll gather more details, and we can formulate a solid plan together. Jack left her office with a mix of relief and apprehension. For the first time today, excitement bubbled inside him. He had a chance to save what he loved. As he walked back through the school hallways, he couldn't ignore the focus and energy in his steps. This was bigger than just funding, it was about passion, creativity, and futures. The next few days would be critical. He had to make sure everyone was on board, and that he was equipped with the right plan. Just as he reached the door, a figure stepped in front of him. It was Mia, face flushed with excitement. Jack. You won't believe what I just heard. There's someone interested in supporting the arts in our community. Jack's heart raced anew. This was it. Things were changing, momentum was building. But with every new lead came fresh complications. Who was this mystery person, and what did they really want? He took a breath, ready to find out. Tell me everything. Jack leaned forward, urgency dancing in his eyes. Mia, what do you mean? Who's interested? Mia glanced around as if afraid someone might overhear her. I overheard Mr. Collins talking about it in the teacher's lounge. He's connected with some wealthy folks who want to invest in the arts. You know, deep down, he loves what we do. Her voice was a mixture of excitement and disbelief. He said there's this millionaire who lost his way and wants to give back. Wow, Jack breathed, feeling a surge of hope. Do you know if that person is really committed? I mean, what's the story here? Mia shrugged, her enthusiasm dimming just a little. I'm not sure. I think they were talking about a fundraiser next week. If we could get them to come and see the kids perform, then we need to make that happen, Jack interrupted, a fire igniting in his belly. If they see what the arts can do, they'll want to contribute. But it can't just be a show, it has to really move them. Mia nodded, catching on to his energy. Absolutely. I can help with set design and the marketing. We'll need a good lineup, maybe some of the kids' best pieces? Jack felt the weight of encouragement, yet an anxious thought nagged at him. What if it wasn't enough? We'll need more than just great performances. Do you think we can get parents involved? Maybe a bake sale or something to add to the event? Definitely. Let's rally the troops, Mia said, her eyes sparkling with determination. We can do flyers, call parents, and send out emails. Every little bit counts. As they brainstormed, a detailed plan began to form. Ideas flowed like a bubbling brook, and for the first time, Jack felt a sense of possibility in the air. They could create an event that not only showcased the talent of the kids but also wove the community together in support of the arts. After making notes, Jack's excitement took another dip. Mia, even if we get this millionaire to come, there's still that board meeting looming. What if they don't see the value in what we're doing? Mia paused, her expression flipping to concern. We can't think like that, Jack. We can't let fear stop us. Just focus on putting our best foot forward. Yeah, he sighed, knowing she was right but still overwhelmed by the stakes. Then an idea struck. We should give our audience more than just performances. Maybe we share their stories? Highlight why the arts matter. It's more than just painting or music, it's about healing, expression, and community. Now you're talking. Mia grinned. We can pull in personal testimonials from the kids. Show how they've grown through art. That'll definitely catch their attention. Jack's heart raced from the immediate rush of ideas. With Mia by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But deep inside, doubt still loomed. What if the millionaire saw them, met them, then walked away? Just then, Jack's phone buzzed in his pocket, startling him. He pulled it out to see a message from Mrs. Thompson. Call me when you can. There's something important we need to discuss. A knot tightened in his stomach again. Something told him this would be a game changer, but for better or worse. Everything okay? Mia asked, noticing his sudden shift in mood. I don't know, Jack said, anxiety creeping into his voice. I have to call Mrs. Thompson back. I just wish I knew what was coming. Just stay positive, Mia encouraged, rubbing his arm gently. You've got this and so do we. Let us prepare ourselves for whatever comes next. As Jack took a deep breath to steady his nerves, a thought flickered in his mind. What if Mrs. Thompson had news of the board? What if this was the moment everything changed for the art program? He nodded, steeling his resolve. All right, I'll call her now. Let us see what this is all about. But as he dialed, a worried thought emerged. What if Mrs. Thompson had bad news? What if all their efforts were for nothing? He pressed the phone to his ear, heart pounding. A shift was coming, and this time, there might not be a path back. Mrs. Thompson, I'm on, he said when she picked up. But deep down, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that change was closer than he realized. Jack's heart raced as he listened to Mrs. Thompson's warm voice on the other end. Jack, I'm glad you called. We need to talk about the upcoming board meeting and the fundraiser. I have some ideas that could really make an impact. Jack jumped in, eager to share the vision he and Mia had crafted. If we can create a performance that's not just entertaining but deeply meaningful, we can really show them the potential of the arts. Hold that thought, Mrs. Thompson interrupted gently. There was a pause, and Jack could almost hear her weighing her words. I need you to sit down for this. I just got off the phone with Mr. Collins. He had something incredible to tell me regarding the board meeting. Jack's heartbeat quickened. Okay. What is it? It's not just about funding anymore. It's about change. The board has agreed to consider our proposals based on Mr. Collins' unwavering support. However, she hesitated, her tone shifting to a serious note. There's something more personal at stake for them. This $1 million donor is someone with a story that could deeply resonate with your kids. Jack's eyebrows knitted together. What do you mean? What's their story? His name is Robert Green. He was well known in the art world until a tragic accident left him in a wheelchair. He's been searching for a way to give back, especially to programs that uplift young voices in art. It's personal for him. A rush of emotions washed over Jack. He could picture a man who understood struggle, who could relate to their passion and the hurdles they faced. Wow, what does he want? They want to feel the heartbeat of the program. Robert will be coming to the fundraiser. He needs to see the art he could help preserve, and how it transforms lives. This is a rare opportunity, Jack. Not just for funding, but to connect and heal. Will he want to share his story? Jack felt a wave of hope wash over him, mixed with the fear of exposing the kids' vulnerabilities. We'll play it by ear, Mrs. Thompson assured him. But getting them to understand that the arts can be a lifeline might just be what he needs to see. Your kids could change his life as much as he could change theirs. Jack's thoughts raced. How could he best prepare the kids? How could they open themselves to this millionaire, knowing how delicate the exchange could be? Mrs. Thompson, we'll need to light the stage on fire with passion. This has to be everything we've got. Exactly. You'll have to rally the students. This moment could define their lives, she encouraged. Can you do that? Yeah, he said, a growing wave of adrenaline fueling his voice. We can motivate the kids. We'll share their stories, and we'll show him who we are. After they hung up, Jack turned to Mia, who had been anxiously watching him the whole time. Are we finally gaining ground? She asked, catching his heightened energy. More than that, Jack replied, the tension lifting. He's coming. This isn't just about donations. It's about connection. We need to pull the kids together and let them shine. Mia's smile spread across her face. So, what's the plan? Jack grinned, his mind buzzing with ideas. We prepare like we're in the greatest showcase of our lives. Every child will have a story. We show Robert how art heals, how it connects us. This could change everything. Mia beamed, her enthusiasm infectious. Let us get started. As they began crafting their vision, Jack felt something deep within him settling, a sense of purpose. But doubts still flickered in the back of his mind. What if Robert didn't connect? What if their best efforts fell flat? But as night fell around them, the darkness outside seemed less ominous. It was time for the kids to rise, to share their hearts with the world. With renewed determination, Jack and Mia began making plans, unaware that a twist of fate awaited them in the shadows, a secret that could reshape not just the fundraiser but also Jack's own future. What would they uncover when they dug deeper into Robert Greene's past? Would his journey inspire the kids as much as theirs would inspire him? Jack woke early the next morning, his mind still racing with ideas. The light streamed through his window, illuminating the stacks of papers and sketches he'd piled on the table. He felt a flicker of hope, like tiny embers sparking in his chest. Today was the day they would rally the kids, and he wanted to do it right. After breakfast, he drove over to the community center, where the kids gathered every week for their art classes. As he walked in, he felt the familiar rush of excitement. Laughter echoed from the hall, and he could already see a few kids working on their projects, paint-stained hands and big smiles lighting up the room. "Hey, everyone!" he called out, gathering their attention. Slowly, the noise faded as they turned to face him, curious. "Jack. What's up?" Mia chimed in from the back, her voice chirpy and encouraging. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. "I have something important to share. We've got a fundraiser coming up, and there's a special guest attending, someone who has the power to change our program forever." Their expressions shifted, a mix of excitement and uncertainty rippling through the crowd. "What kind of special guest?" a boy named Leo asked, fidgeting with his paintbrush. "A millionaire named Robert Greene," Jack replied, gauging their reactions. "He's an artist who, after a tragic accident, wants to support young voices like yours. But he doesn't just want to give money," he emphasized. "He wants to connect with you all, hear your stories, and see how art changes your lives." The room fell silent. Jack could see the wheels turning in their minds. They were a group of kids, many from tough backgrounds, and some had never shared their experiences in front of others. "What's his story?" Mia gently prodded, stepping forward. Jack glanced around, noticing their hesitant faces. "That's the thing. I don't know all the details yet, but I do know he understands struggle. He'll be looking for something real from us. This is an opportunity not just to show our art but to connect on a deeper level." "What do we have to do?" one of the girls asked, her eyes wide with expectation. "We're going to put together a performance, one that speaks from the heart." Jack's voice grew louder, fueled by determination. "Each of you has a story that deserves to be told. Let us share your passions, your dreams, and yes, even your fears. We'll create something powerful together." As he spoke, he saw the room come alive. Kids exchanged glances, fingers tapping excitedly on tables, ideas bubbling to the surface. "How do we start?" Leo asked, a spark igniting in his demeanor. Mia stepped in. "Let us brainstorm. Think about what you want to share. It could be through painting, music, dance, or poetry. Whatever speaks to you." Jack watched as the kids formed small huddles, animated discussions breaking out, the buzz of creativity filling the air. Each laugh, each idea thrown out brought him a wave of relief. They were in this together, and it felt electric, but as the excitement continued to build, a familiar unease settled into Jack's stomach. Would they truly be able to perform? What if they couldn't find the words or the confidence to share? He tapped his fingers against the tabletop, trying to shake off the lingering doubt. "Hey, Jack?" a quiet voice broke through his thoughts. It was Mia again. "Are you okay?" He met her gaze and nodded. Yeah, just thinking we're stepping into unknown territory here. Believe in them, Jack. They've got it in them. You know that, she said softly, but there was urgency in her eyes. We just need to guide them. Jack took a deep breath. She was right. This was their moment. He could give them the tools, but they had to find the strength to express themselves. It was about more than just a performance. It was about their lives and their journeys. As the kids gathered around, eyes glowing with determination, Jack made a promise within himself. He would support them every step of the way. His phone buzzed in his pocket, a message from Mrs. Thompson. He read it quickly, heart dropping slightly. We need to talk. Again about Robert Greene. There are some things you should know. A chill ran down Jack's spine. What else could be waiting for them in this unfolding story? Could Robert's past hold a clue that might change everything? The community center buzzed with energy as the kids dove into brainstorming ideas for their performance. Jack leaned back against the wall, watching them with a smile. The joy in their voices was a balm to his earlier unease. They were stirring something inside him that felt like hope. Maybe this really could be a turning point for them all. But then, an anxious knot twisted in his stomach. He glanced at his phone again. What did Mrs. Thompson mean? What was so crucial about Robert Greene's past? Shaking his head, Jack reminded himself to focus on the kids. They needed him now. All right, everyone, he called out, clapping his hands to gather their attention. Let's hear some of your ideas. What stories are waiting to be told? Leaning forward, Mia raised her hand, her voice clear and strong. I want to share my journey with music. It's always been my escape, you know? I've written a song about overcoming fear. It's personal, but I think it could really connect. Great start, Mia. Jack encouraged, feeling a surge of pride. Music has a way of reaching hearts like nothing else. He knew how much her passion meant to her, and he could already picture her on stage, her voice lifting the room. Next, Leo stepped up, a bit shy but determined. I want to combine art and dance. I was thinking I could create a mural of what home means to me, and then have a dance performance that tells the story of how I got there. That idea sparked a flurry of enthusiasm among the others, with different kids throwing out ideas about how they could merge music, art, and dance into a cohesive performance. The energy in the room was undeniable, a melting pot of creativity and emotion, but Jack's mind was still partly elsewhere, the message from Mrs. Thompson nagging at the edges of his thoughts. Why hadn't he reached out for more information before coming here? He bit his lip, trying to shake off the weight of worry. What if something about Robert Greene's past makes him disengage or feel too distant? He thought. Just then, a soft voice broke his train of thought. It was Tara, one of the quieter kids. Can I share something too? I've been keeping a poem of mine for a long time. It's about feeling invisible, but also about wanting to be seen. Jack's heart swelled. Absolutely, Tara. Your words deserve to be heard. It takes a lot of courage to share something so personal. He felt the room shift as Tara glanced up, the shadow of doubt lifting slightly from her eyes. As each child took their turn, sharing pieces of their hearts, they began to fill the gaps between the silence with laughter and occasional tears. It was cathartic and beautiful, a reminder that art could be a healing force, but amid this connection, Jack could still hear the quiet whisper of his phone in his pocket. What could Mrs. Thompson possibly have to say that could change everything? Suddenly, the buzz of excitement came to an abrupt halt as the door to the room creaked open. All heads turned to see Mrs. Thompson walking in, her expression serious. Jack, can we talk? His heart sank. The conversation that followed could alter everything they'd built today. What do you know about Robert? She asked, her voice low, as if afraid of the very answer. Jack stepped forward, each word heavy with uncertainty. I don't really know much. Just what he's doing for the kids. But as Mrs. Thompson's eyes met his, Jack felt a chill creep up his spine. Whatever she had to say was going to change their path. Jack, you need to prepare them for what's about to come. Robert's story isn't just inspiring, it's complicated. And it might hit closer to home than you think. A wave of apprehension washed over Jack. What had he gotten himself into? How were they going to handle the truth? Jack's mind raced as he considered Mrs. Thompson's words. The room buzzed with anticipation, but he felt worlds away from the infectious energy of the kids. What was lurking in Robert Greene's past that could shift this hopeful atmosphere into something dark and heavy? Can you give me a hint? Jack asked, his voice barely above a whisper, a knot tightening in his stomach. Mrs. Thompson hesitated, weighing her words. Robert had a difficult childhood. He faced a lot of struggles, more than most of these kids can comprehend. It's shaped him into the man he is today, but it also haunts him. You need to be prepared for when if he shares that with them. As the children continued brainstorming, Jack felt a wave of worry wash over him. How could he bring this matter up without crushing their spirits? Let us give them hope, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Maybe Robert's story can inspire them, show them what it means to rise from hardship. Mrs. Thompson's gaze softened. That's the spirit, Jack. But they need to be ready. It's not black and white. The truth can be messy. Do you think they can handle that? He glanced at the room, taking in the gleaming eyes and excited chatter. They were so vibrant, so full of potential. I believe in them. I really do. Trust your instincts, she replied, squeezing his arm lightly. But remember, honesty can sometimes hurt. With a sigh, Jack nodded as she stepped away. He turned back to the kids just in time to see Mia and Leo leading the charge, their excitement palpable as they traded ideas back and forth. Jack took a breath, forcing the weight of Mrs. Thompson's revelation to the back of his mind. He needed to be there for them. All right, everyone. He called out, clapping his hands to regain their attention. Can we take a moment to reflect on our stories? Want to vote on which ideas we want to bring to life? Cheers erupted, and hands shot up all around. They were hungry to share, to connect, and Jack's spirit lifted as he watched them engage. After some time, the noise settled and Jack observed the kids, each one bright with hope. Even Tara, with her soft demeanor, seemed to shine as she shared her poem, her words weaving an emotional tapestry that wrapped around the room. Emotions flowed like a river through them, binding them closer together. But deep down, the quiet thoughts of Robert's past weighed heavily on Jack. What if it broke the connection they had built today? What if it turned their laughter into silence? Just then, he caught Tara's eye. She smiled, and in that moment, he felt a flicker of resolve. Listen, everyone, he said, sensing the need for transparency. Sometimes, our stories come with shadows. People like Robert have overcome a lot to be where they are. If he shares that part of his life with you, it's because he cares. Just remember that. The kids looked up at him, faces reflecting curiosity and concern, but mostly a desire to understand together. As the rehearsal continued into the evening, Jack watched the kids grow stronger with every shared dream and intention. Yet, in the back of his mind lingered a question and anxiety. How would they react when the shadows finally surfaced? And just as he considered this, the door swung open once again. Robert Greene stepped inside, his eyes scanning the room, filled with a lifetime of stories untold. Jack's heart raced. The moment they had all awaited was finally here. Would this be the performance they had hoped for, or the revelation that would change everything? Jack's heartbeat quickened, and a wave of electricity coursed through the room. Robert Greene, wheelchair and all, commanded an air of quiet power. He had come not just as a benefactor but as someone who understood the struggles of art, life, and the threads that connected them. Hello, everyone, Robert began, his voice steady yet gentle. The kids hushed, captivated. I'm here to witness your stories, your passions. Jack felt the tension in the air dissolve slightly, but a knot remained in his stomach. What would Robert share? As Robert took a moment to connect with the students, their excitement buzzed like a flicker of flame. Mia leaned into Jack, her voice barely a whisper. "This is it, Jack. He believes in them." The kids showed their utmost enthusiasm, hopes, talents, and dreams poured out in snippets. The artwork, sketches, music, and dance began to come alive in their chatter. Robert listened intently, nodding, eyes sparkling. But Jack knew they were standing on the edge of something monumental. He took a deep breath, readying the kids for the depths beneath the surface. "Robert's here to inspire you, but he carries a story, a powerful one," he said, glancing at Robert, who gave a small nod of encouragement. With a slow, deliberate grace, Robert began, "I've spent my life loving the arts, but my path was not always easy. I lost much along the way. My first brush with art was during a difficult childhood. I used to feel invisible." His voice broke slightly, and Jack could see the raw emotion in his demeanor. "After an accident left me in this wheelchair," Robert continued, the weight of his words evident. "I lost my way, my passion for the arts drowned in the waves of despair. But surviving that struggle, it's what led me back to what truly matters: supporting others, especially young artists." Gasps flowed through the room as the kids processed his depth. There was understanding in their wide-eyed stares. Jack exchanged glances with Mia, who looked both astonished and inspired. "I want to help you keep that light alive. I want to hear all of your stories because it is through our shadows that we find the strength to shine," Robert concluded. The room erupted, a mix of applause and cheers, but Jack's heart soared as he saw the immediate spark ignite in the children. They felt connection, understanding, and a bond was forming not only with Robert but also amongst themselves. "Let us show him what we can do," Jack called out, excitement bubbling over. "Now more than ever, let us polish those performances. Let us take these stories of ours and weave them into something unforgettable." Motivated by Robert's words, the kids threw themselves back into their practices. Laughter, shouts of encouragement, and creative discussions filled the air. Each child poured their heart into their art, inspired to leave a mark that could transform not just their lives, but the program's very destiny. The day of the fundraiser arrived, the atmosphere buzzing with anticipation. The auditorium was filled with community families, local supporters, and teachers, all abuzz with conversation and curiosity. Jack felt the energy ripple through him, the days of preparation culminating in this very moment. As the show began, Jack watched the performances unfold, a tapestry of stories brightening the stage. Tara's poem captured the essence of invisibility, Mia's song about fear walked together with Leo's vibrant mural dance. Every word, every brushstroke, every note was a step toward breaking free from their pasts, and the audience was enraptured. As excitement thrummed through the air, Jack couldn't help but look for Robert. Their eyes met, and Robert's smile was that of a proud mentor. The culmination of their hard work was about to unveil a different reality. Hoped. As the final performance concluded in a roaring applause, Jack felt an overwhelming wave of gratitude wash over him. The achievements of those kids stretched far beyond the program. They embraced resilience and the power of community. After the show, children gathered around Robert for hugs, questions, and encouragement, finding solace in their shared journeys. Jack held back tears of joy. They did it. In the aftermath, as parents and locals flooded to chat with Robert, hopes and promises floated around like confetti. It was more than a fundraiser, it was a testament to resilience and the strength of their community. "Jack," Robert's voice broke through, and he turned to face the man whose heart mirrored his own. "I'm going to ensure this program gets funded for years to come. You've all lit a flame, and it deserves to be cherished." Jack felt warmth spread through him, understanding the magnitude of the promise. "Thank you, Robert. You've changed everything," Jack replied, the weight of emotion lifting off his shoulders. And as families intertwined in laughter and conversation, Jack's heart swelled with hope. He had touched lives and his own had forever transformed by sharing in the struggle and joy of artistry. With that, Jack knew their journey ahead would only become more vibrant. He had not just given dreams back to his community, they had started believing in timeless possibilities. Expression swirled, connections thrived, and shadows melted into light. And in that moment, with the auditorium an echo of promise, it was clear, every promise fulfilled could change a life. Now this is the moment for you. You need to subscribe now for more incredible stories like this. Don't let your friends miss out. Leave a like right now and let us feed that algorithm. Comment below with your feelings about this transformation, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring journey. Let us build this community together.